Earlier today, Disney released the final episodes of the first season of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and I decided it would be a bit of fun to do a review. Now, unfortunately, YouTube has been kind of weird about me using clips on this channel, so instead of using clips from the show, I'm just going to use my theme park footage to ensure I don't get in trouble again. I'm also going to break this into 4 categories: characters, animation, story, and fighting sequences. So let's get started. The characters being likable, easy to relate to, etc. are typically important points in trying to make a show that is technically aimed at kids. And Marvel did a fairly decent job of that. The main cast is Peter Parker, Nico, Lonnie, Harry, and Norman. Norman is mostly only to some extent, but it feels weird to call him a side character. With some of the minor characters being May Parker, Pearl, Doc Ock, Doc Ock's assistant, Big Don, etc. Of the main 4, I would actually say Peter is the least compelling of the characters. Maybe it's explained in the tie-in comic, but he just sort of starts being Spider-Man, so up until the end of the show he doesn't really have any growth, and that growth was artificial anyways. Nico and Harry are Peter's friends, though neither of them have known him for a long time. I think their dynamic works for the most part. Obviously, they had to be friends before the end of the season in order to make storylines close, but I don't know, it almost feels like they could have had a bit longer time between that. Lonnie Lincoln, better known as Tombstone in other media, actually has a fairly compelling story and definitely shines in the earlier episodes. Norman exists and helps Peter, but as with Tombstone, it felt more like I was just waiting to see if he would turn into Green Goblin in this season or not, rather than, what he was actually doing, which still felt very Green Goblin-y. The show's animation is arguably one of the biggest things, and it takes some time to get adjusted to, especially if you've seen other Spider-Man shows or even just other Marvel animated shows. I appreciate the attempt at making a more comic book feeling style, but it's very obvious they had to sacrifice background elements, as there are a ton of scenes throughout the show where Spidey's just swinging down empty streets. Because that's what New York is known for, being the least busy city in the world. By the end of the season, the animation didn't feel as jarring, but the world still didn't really feel lived in, mostly because of the traversal scenes. The rest of the animation was pretty solid, especially once you get used to it. The story is going to be a massive spoiler to talk about, but I'll keep it as spoiler free as I can. Following Peter's journey to learn to be Spider-Man, while using Lonnie as a foil, feels like a fresh spin compared to other Spider-Man stories. Having Norman as Peter's mentor definitely helps separate the show from the MCU storyline that it was supposed to parallel, but some of the season fell a bit flat, almost as if they wanted to ensure that they could just extend the runtime a bit. Not all good, not all bad, definitely a passable story. Now let's talk about the real reason to watch this show. A Spider-Man series that can actually do blood. Some of these fights would look downright graphic if it were not for the animation style and, hiding away the really graphic parts. There's some moves that feel like they took them straight from the Spider-Man PlayStation games, and that's great. Use what you can as a reference. Honestly, the number of references in the series is insane. Across the Spider-Verse, various live-action movies, the Spider-Man ride at Disney California Adventure, and obviously various comic book characters. It's a great way to have people freeze frame to see what secrets are hidden. Taking the lump sum, I would say this show is worth watching, but not necessarily one that you have to. So like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry once again for not being able to use actual footage from the show, but I honestly really can't risk this channel anymore than I already have. I do have a bunch of plans for the channel moving forward, especially after we hit 1,000 subs, but we'll see if I actually have time to actually work on those ideas in the next couple months, as non-YouTube things are getting very busy. Anyways, thanks again, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!